again, how is it different going now that you've gone from high school to college to professional? How does the game change that way?
It's a business.
Oh, now it becomes
when
a
you leave,
business.
When you leave college, it's now a business, because if you don't perform, you don't stay. And that's, again, that's when you see the true, football.
Do you think you're prepared for that? Do you think high school, at least back then, maybe now it's different, but do you think you were prepared?
No, nobody's prepared for that. You're never prepared. For me, if I never went to play professionally, it would have been enough. Just to play, college football and just, and not play anymore. I've been fine with me. It was a bonus to be able to graduate from Notre Dame and then have the opportunity to play professionally. Right. But you have to remember, people don't understand, when you play professionally, if you don't make a lot of money, and most people don't, or take care of your money, there's going to come a time when you got to stop playing at that level. And it's not a lot of guys play 14 to 15 years or 18 years, almost like Peyton Manning did. That was unheard of, to play at his position for as long as he played. But he's going to pay for it physically. Right. Okay. So at some point, most guys only play 4 to 5 years on average.
I was going to say the average NFL career is 3 to 5 years. Did you always think of it as a platform, or, a
platform?
Definitely to move into something else.
Definitely, because I got my degree. I had my degree from Notre Dame, so I could have not played professionally. I would have made the money right off the money right off the bat, a lot of money right off. But eventually, because of my education, I would have been fine.
What would you have done graduating from Notre Dame if you didn't play football professionally? Did you have anything in the back your backup plan?
Because in the off season I would work for IBM, and so I was going to be a system analyst. That's what I was doing when I was in Boston. So I wanted to get into that eventually, but because that I got the moves. I didn't stay in New England for 2 or 3 years. Then I moved on, so I really couldn't stay with that because I moved.
And besides it being a business, now that you're in professional, now. Probably even then, because now you see more things in the media, but it seems very glamorous, and they party all the time, and there's groupies and this and that. What was it really like? What was the day in the life?
We didn't see that. That's a movie.
Okay. But what was your daily life like? Was it all training and no play? Because it looks like they all have an awful lot of fun now.
Well, if you're married. If you're not married, I'm sure you do. You
were
do
you
those kind of
married when
things.
you were?
When I first went, I wasn't. I think I got married my second year. And so my first year, you had a lot of that because it's new to you. It's a new area. Businesses cater to you because you're professional athletes. You can go down and drop a name, and then they get you into a restaurant quicker or something like that. Those kind of things. And so, but I didn't get caught up in that.
I was going to say, how do you keep,
You got to kind of perspective. You got to keep a perspective. Would you want somebody doing that to you? Come to a restaurant and get in front of you. So all the things that you were given, or the things were given to you, you kind of had to say no to, because you didn't want to get in that habit.
But you're still very young. That's kind of hard to.
At 22, I was 22 years old. Yeah, but that means I'm coming out of college. So I'm very humble because I don't know nothing. I'm in a new place. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't want to take advantage of people. Or people taking advantage of you. So you kind of got to watch what you're doing. And so I was fortunate enough to be level-headed enough to not get caught up in all the partying and all that kind of stuff, because I knew it's a short-lived game. That's why I was saying with IBM, in the off season I would go work with them, because I knew I wouldn't be playing football the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? So, and that worked out to be good for me. That I didn't get caught up in the game itself, and that I was bigger than the game. I was this or that because I played professionally. That wasn't what it was about. It's the fact that I had an opportunity to play. Right. And that's all, and experience something that not too many people get to experience.
Okay. What do you think is the biggest lesson you learned from football?
Just what you said, how to treat people.
Really?
How to treat people, because it pays off. I mean, in the end, if you do what you're supposed to do and treat people how you're supposed to treat them, in the end, it'll come back around. People will treat you with that respect and those kind of things, and good things that happen. And that's exactly what happens. It's tough to come back home for most guys who play professional anything.
Right.
Because to them, because people around you think you've been a success, they say, well, you've been successful. Why would you come back to Richmond? But see, I didn't look at it as being
That's
successful.
what I was going to say. So why come back home? Why did you come back to
To get
Richmond?
back. And not only that, my grandparents were getting older, and I wanted to come back. They raised me, so I wanted to come back and give back to them as well, okay, because they were getting elderly, and they wasn't being well taken care of. The kids were here, the family was here, but nobody was with them. So they take them to doctor appointments and those kind of things, make sure they were okay in their latter years, because they took that time for us.
Right.
So I had 2 kids. I was divorced at the time. I moved back with my 2 kids. And, so they helped me raise my 2 kids as well. So they got that same, the same things I got in terms of being taught by the grandparent.
That's good, yeah.
Those and they had those skills today, in terms of how to treat people, and don't ever think you're better than somebody else because you've had a little success, those kind of things.
I have a few more football questions.
Oh, you're fine.
What was the greatest locker room speech you remember? Were there any that stand out in your mind? Because I love football movies, and every time I watch one, there's always one that makes you want to, just me, who's not a football player, jump up out of my chair and rush down the field. Is there anyone?
Not really. I mean,
when you were walking into a game, like, were you already in the mindset,
yeah.
or
you focus.
didn't need the speech?
No, most time it's just going out and play. You got to go out and play the game. So you've been prepared. The position coaches prepare you. The only thing you got to concentrate on now is make sure you do what you're supposed to do. They can talk. They can all the rah they want to. Coach can say what they want to say, but in your mind, hey, I got this my assignments. I got to make sure I do my assignments. So as long as you perform those assignments, you're going to be successful. If everybody does it collectively.
Right.
Okay, so.
Do you keep in touch with any of your NFL player friends? Is it like a brotherhood, or is it like now you're done and you're back in Richmond and they've gone their own way?
Yeah, a lot of that.
Do you see each other on Facebook or Twitter or
well,
any of that kind of stuff?
Well, I just talked to mainly my college buddies. I play ball with. I talked to most of them, about 3 or 4 guys. We kind of stay in touch. I see Montana and those guys at events at Notre Dame. They'll come back. I think our 40th national championship reunion is coming up in 2017. So they'll bring all of us back for that. But and I run into Joe's at shows, around the country. We go different places, and so I run into teammates at those places, those kind of things. But the ones I stay in touch with, there's about 3 or 4 guys that I played at, that played at Notre Dame with me that I call on a regular basis. I just talked to one of my brothers the other night. He still lives in South Bend. He's a running back with me, and we just like brothers.
So it's like a fraternity of.
It really is, and the girls too. I mean, the females who came in our class as freshmen. I just talked to them too. I mean, most of them I talked to.
So was there a tight group of you then?
Yes, when you come in as freshmen, and as I want just to come out the wrong way, but there was very few minorities on the campus at that time.
What was the racial climate at that time?
It was 70s. So, it was, even though it was like we went 76 was 76. So it's like, turmoil was still, there's a lot of racial issues still being talked about and those kind of things. And so when you came in, it was only very few minorities. So we had to kind of
stick together
and kind of
encourage each other.
And the girls were always encouragers. They say, "I'm not doing your homework for you, but I help you." And I go, "Okay." So that was a good thing. So we became friends. About 4 or 5 of us, and we're all that tight knit group. Again, we stay in touch with about 10 of us. When we still talk to one another and send pictures back and forth of kids and stuff, and see each other at reunions at Notre Dame. So that's the nice thing about it. Friendships you build over the years as well. And now you're talking 40 years. I've known these people. You know what I'm saying? They're just like your family.
Right.
And so I wish them happy birthdays and all that kind of stuff. It's just fun. It's outstanding.